friends, it is afternoon coffee time, afternoon treat time. As per usual, my kids are in the background, so you might hear some sounds, and they're watching a little TV show right now. So I am praying and crossing my fingers that we don't get copyrighted for this. But anyway, considering that it's afternoon treat time and a little bit of a quiet time, I thought I would film a quick video for you talking about things that I have learned over the years of being a homemaker. I have been married for 8 years and cooking in many different kitchens. I would say maybe like 6 different kitchens. I didn't do the math before this video, but countless different kitchens, learning a variety of skills. I have a repertoire of from scratch recipes, but as you all know, I'm also not against convenience food if it is the season of life that you are in. But anyway, lessons that I've learned from being a homemaker through those stages. And before we get into the video, I just want to give a little like commotion for the dress, because I just think that this dress is so vintagey and like cute and the kind of 1950s homemaker style dress, and I just wanted to show it off for all of you because it's fun to get dressed up. And if many of you watch my 2024 beauty goals, you know that I am in a season of trying to enjoy my beauty and like really having girly fun with everything that I wear, so this suits that. Let's get right into the video for the sake of time. And my first tip from cooking in countless different kitchens, huge kitchens from what many of you have seen before, we flipped a couple houses, to small apartment style kitchens, to like this kitchen, which is a Mobo kitchen. And the way that I said that was a little cheesy, but it's not about necessarily the space and having fancy gizmos that makes a good cook in the kitchen and a versatile cook in the kitchen. So what I would recommend is to start with like one appliance at a time and start from the bare bones. A lot of times when we get married or we're new homemakers, we want to put on our registry a whole bunch of like kitchen gadgets, or we want to go to the thrift store and like try to pick up a whole bunch of different, kitchen appliances to stock our kitchen, or Costco, Walmart, you get what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. The point is we want to start our marriages off with a stocked kitchen with everything we think that we could possibly need for the duration of when we're going to be a wife and a mother. But I encourage you to start backwards, to instead start with the bare bones and go one step at a time. When you're learning how to become a better cook, or you're learning what your family likes, going out, for example, and buying a fancy meat roaster when you're not so sure if that is what your family is into is a waste of money, and it's going to cause a lot of clutter in your kitchen because you don't yet have a good goal and objective of what you need for your family. There isn't a right way to be a home cook. And I would encourage you to go kind of as far as you can into having the bare bones kitchen, because then when you actually invest in a product that you like, you're going to know exactly what you need it for. That seems kind of vague, but let me give an example of what I have done. So I've used a hand mixer for many different years. But you know that I'm very into baking. I started being very into making bread this past year, and a lot of people have asked me, why don't I have a KitchenAid yet? And that is because I wanted to find out what my family actually likes when it comes to making bread products, and having a machine, a mixer like that, what is important to them. If I would have gone out and put that on my registry or bought it a long time ago, I wouldn't have bought the right mixer for me. And I actually have an eye on the right one for me, and it's not a KitchenAid. My family benefits more from the different types of attachments. Long story short, I'll share that with you in the future. But it's not the KitchenAid, and it seems a little bit silly to say, but there's something about being confident in the kitchen and like being one with the appliances that you have. I know that many people are going to watch this and not quite understand what I'm saying, but if you are a homemaker, you do understand. It's just like a contractor who has his favorite set of tools and he's working on something. You have to be confident in what you need. And for the sake of doing everything the best way possible, I recommend the tip that I just stated. Next up, knowing how to cook from scratch is not just aesthetic, it is so practical. Because I had taken the time to find out how to cook from scratch the things that my family likes, now that the prices of groceries have gone up and like it actually is cheaper to make a lot of things from scratch, I wasn't suffering in learning all those skills because I had invested the time at the beginning of my homemaking journey to do so. We've talked countless times on this channel how the homemaker is devalued in society, and a lot of these jobs like cleaning, cooking, taking care of children has been degraded and not viewed as a valuable skill to develop. And what we're trying to do here is rewrite the narrative on that. There's actually a most efficient way to cook. There's actually a most efficient way to clean, and those things do have economic return, but they also have more of a sentimental value, which I'm going to talk about in a point. But like I mentioned in one of my videos that I did a long time ago about the homemaker, I'm actually going to list that video in the description. The best way that I recommend learning how to cook from scratch, tailored to what you like, is to take your favorite recipes of maybe what you like to eat out or what you might buy from the store, for example, like a lasagna, that's the example that I used, and dissect it piece by piece. Start with the sauce or like the noodles. Then you're going to build the skills and the confidence on how to do those things, which are going to translate to other recipes. You could even start as simple as like baking a cake. When I first became a homemaker, I didn't know how to make a cake beyond a box mix. And there's something so special about a homemade birthday cake, for example, and now I'm confident just whipping up the cake on a random Tuesday afternoon, which I believe is an invaluable skill. Moreover, it does give you the confidence to choose not to cook from scratch when you know how to cook from scratch. Right now, like you've seen on my vlogs, I am more in a like buying convenience food type of era, but I don't feel bad about that because I know that I can make mini bites muffins instead of buying them from the store if I wanted to. It gives me the freedom, and that is at the end of the day what I believe the value in cooking from scratch is. It is the freedom. It is not only bringing dignity to the role, but also the freedom that you have in nourishing your family. And also, I wouldn't be scared if you have a small space, if you start off your marriage with an apartment kitchen, or even if you had to downsize. Back to my first point about like prioritizing the types of appliances that you have. There are workaround ways, like different things that you can Google. How to knead bread by hand, for example, the simplest example that I can think of off the top of my head. Don't let the space of your kitchen define you. Not everybody is living like those mom influencers on Instagram with huge kitchens. And I know in the past in my vlogs, I actually feel as though lately I've wanted to make a correction in that and kind of clarify that if you watch my old vlogs and there's like a lot of space, my kids are asking for snacks. Just keep in mind that that wasn't necessarily normal, We did construction on those homes and we found those homes at very good deals. So please do not compare like your reality to what those previous vlogs were. And I feel as though I should have made more of a clarification of what was going on then, instead of trying to live up to like some influencer picture. In terms of busy seasons, there are so many different diet plans, so many different meal rotation schedules. I encourage you, if you're looking for simplicity and actual practical cooking tips, to choose a system and to just go with it. Just choose a system. You can choose a diet plan or like a seasonal meal menu. Write out all the meals that your family likes. Don't feel too influenced on what is like Pinterest perfect. Even though that's my favorite place for inspiration, I think that the most practical thing to do is to just stick to a system that works and do that in your kitchen. The point is that you take it seriously because this is, again, going to save you money, but it's also going to build confidence in your homemaking skills. Many of you aspire to take on more of a traditional wife role, or you call yourself a traditional wife, and honestly, I think that we need to remind ourselves of what a traditional wife is, and that is somebody who puts her family first. And to do that in the kitchen doesn't necessarily look like making a 5-course meal every single day, although it can, but the most important thing is your intention behind what you are doing, which is the last tip that I have of cooking in multiple kitchens, what I've learned over the years. In order to actually stick to your values of like home-cooked meals and creating a space for your family to thrive, you also have to have fun with it. Make seasonal recipes, decorate your tablescape, surprise your family with their favorite meals. I've seen so many TikToks of moms making fun of like, if they were passed away, they wouldn't at least have to think about what they have to cook for dinner every single night. And although that is kind of funny, there is the burden of thinking of what you have to cook every single night. Again, the traditional wife and somebody who wants to value homemaking and have fun with homemaking does look at it like having fun, does look at it at ways that like you can dress up the plate. This is going to differ based on your personality. But this also ties back to the aspect of femininity that I mentioned in one of my recent videos. Highly feminine women look for opportunities to have fun in everything that they are doing. My husband and I were also discussing this, that in reality you have to in life choose your heart. So there are challenges that come with being a full-time homemaker or somebody who prioritizes homemaking. But you can choose your heart in having elements of fun, or you can choose to view them as a burden, which overall destroys the mood and atmosphere in your home. Even if you are on a tight budget and you are feeding your family rice and beans, you can either feed your family rice and beans in misery, or you can feed your family rice and beans in a more fun and pleasant way. So I recommend that you think about that and you reorient your attitude to display that in your homemaking, in cooking in every kitchen. There was a point in time in my marriage where we didn't have running water in one of the kitchens that we redid, but I thought of it like a fun camping experience in terms of like taking out my folded table and preparing meals for my husband. Like, oh, look how creative I am to like recreate these camping meals in our home. Of course, you know, there were goals to get the kitchen done as fast as possible. We still have to live in reality, but I could have chose to huff and puff through those things, or I could have chose to make it a memorable experience that we actually still laugh about today. So I'm going to end the video there. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below what your tips are, especially more experienced homemakers or those who have something to say about their hopes and dreams for cooking in the kitchen, homemaking in the kitchen. Bye-bye.